Okay, the time is now 5:30. The date is December the 17th, 2024. We will call to order the meeting for the City of Statesboro Mayor and Council. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Paulette Shavers.
Let us pray. Lord, in the busyness of the holidays, help us to find moments of stillness and reflect on the true meaning of this season. Let your peace settle in our hearts and overflow into our words and our actions. Bless those who are struggling or lonely, and remind us to be your hands and your feet in this season. Bless all of the council members. Let us make wise decisions for the city of Statesboro, and bless the people in the city of Statesboro. In your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 3, public comments. We have Mr. Sam Jones, former council member. He would like to address agenda items 11 and 14.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Good evening. Good afternoon, right? Reference to number 11. First of all, I'm glad to see it on the agenda because, as you well know, number 11.
That's the,
Maybe I need to put the glasses on, right? So I can see what I'm 11. Yeah. Initially, I think the Great Southern Recreation we was expecting them to do the recreation setup is some change. And I realized that Great Southern specializes in recreation. I'm not so sure about Lavender, and then maybe something you can elaborate on or at a later time. I'm not sure you're prepared to do that today. That's one of the concerns that's posting. My friends in Whitesville was concerned about it. And it was like, they was happy to see that the city's making a move.
Mm-hmm.
That's my question about that. In reference to number 14, where the city is giving $180,000 to Food Bank to complete the building, question is, will the county also be participating or just the city? Will the county contribute?
On item 14, that $180,000 is solely a City of Statesboro contribution. In regards to agenda item 11, and the situation with the original folks, I'll let staff give you a little bit of insight on that. I know it's in regards to a bond issue, but I'll let staff kind of go through a little bit.
And then we can do it at that.
You want to do it at that item?
At that
Okay,
item.
that's fine.
But to one of Mr. Jones's questions, the county did fund $252,000 this morning.
Oh, they did?
Food bank.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll move over to agenda item 4, which is approval of our motion to our consent agenda, which is approval of our minutes from our December 3rd meeting. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we move down to agenda item 5, which is the public hearing consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 24-11-01. Luis Gonzalez requests a zone mapping amendment from the R15 single family residential zoning district to the R3, which is a medium density residential zoning district, in order to develop additional units on 0.087 acre property located at 509 East Main Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Kathy, if you'll give us a little bit of insight.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Currently, the property consists of an existing home located at 509 East Main Street. The applicant intends to retain the existing house and develop additional multifamily units on the lot beyond what would normally be allowed in the current zoning district. And you can see the outline of the parcel in red. And I want to bring your attention to the other parcels on this street. It represents an R15 zoning district, which is 15,000 square foot lot, and there's one house on each of these lots. And also, the city is installing sewer along Ramble Road in this subdivision. The future land use map shows this to be an established residential neighborhood. And with the zoning, again, you can see how this neighborhood is all zoned R15. The subject property is shown on the top left. It's an old house that's being improved at the moment. The property to the east on the bottom right. The property to the west on the top left. And the property to the south, which is a gas station across the street on the bottom right. And you can see the sketch plan. If you can enlarge that sketch plan, Lane, that would be helpful. It shows 5 units with a parking lot in the front, or in the middle, I should say. And it keeps the existing house. And I feel that this development pattern does not represent the rest of the neighborhood. And therefore, I recommend a denial of RZ 24-11-01 due to the lack of compatibility with the surrounding neighborhood. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Number 1, approval of this zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the property. All construction must be reviewed and approved by the city. 2, cottage courts shall not be an allowed use on this property due to the potential increase in traffic generation and necessary detention. And 3, there must be sufficient buffering on all sides of the site to allow for the increase in screening for the property. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on December 3rd, 2024, the Commission recommended denial of the request upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. Is there anyone who wants to speak for this request? Anyone who wants to speak against this request? I'm sorry, for or against?
Against. Good evening, y'all. My name is Jacob Crowley. I live at 25 Ramble Road. I'm kind of against having this put at the end of the road. There's only really one way in and out of the neighborhood. My biggest concern is the traffic volume. Traffic's already kind of bad there. And especially during peak hours, you're hoping somebody leaves an opening for you to be able to get out. And then if you're coming home, people lined up to turn on to Coach Lee Hill Boulevard. You're hoping they leave an opening so you don't have a line behind you if you're ready to turn on to Ramble Road. Otherwise, you've got a messy situation there. So, and really to kind of mirror it's just, we're an established, neighborhood, and but my biggest concern mainly is the traffic. I would recommend y'all deny to kind of save us that headache. So,
Thank you.
all right, thank y'all.
Anyone else, for or against? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, it's an oversized lot. I don't really have a problem with adding something in there. Maybe that's too much to add what they're asking for. I'm disappointed the owners aren't here, but I'm sure that you'll speak with them again to let them know what happened. It's bigger than the other lots in the neighborhood. It's right there on the corner, and one driveway already comes in off of East Main, not Ramble Road.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would be open to if they wanted to put up a duplex in the back or something. Like I say, it's a big lot. It's bigger than the other lots in that neighborhood. And I can't blame them for, it looks like they had some storm damage. They're trying to put a new roof on. If they're trying to generate income, it makes sense to me. Just to convey information, if you like.
Any further discussion by council?
So staff denied it
Yes.
based upon aesthetically, it didn't look like what was surrounding.
Well, staff felt that this was an established residential neighborhood and with 15,000 square foot lots. And the development pattern really in that whole neighborhood is a single-family home on a lot of 15,000 square feet. Now, Councilwoman Barr is right that this is 0.87 of an acre. So it's a little larger than the 15,000 square feet. But I felt that the development pattern as such, with that parking lot in the middle with 5 units on that site, was too much and
Okay.
really did not reflect the development pattern of that established residential neighborhood.
So if the size decreased, then how would the staff feel about that? Like you're saying that in that lot, what they're wanting to put there is just like too much for the lot that they want to put there.
Yeah.
Based upon what's already there.
That's right, because they've got the parking lot in the middle with 5 units around it to accommodate all the parking. And yeah, I suppose if the council decided to defer it, we could then discuss it with the applicant and come back with a revised proposal. I think that's what your suggestion.
Any further discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, remind me, if we deny it, then they can't come back for 6 months. If we defer it, you can talk with them and see if they want to come back and ask just for a duplex or something. Is that right?
Yeah, but that's, this is District 1, and I'll say this right here. You just add my 2 cents, I don't have a vote, but, I add my 2 cents. I know this neighborhood very, very well. And this is not it for that. I agree with, I think the planning commission made the right decision. I think the staff made the right decision. I like the idea of this somewhere else, but for that neighborhood, I would say no. And that's a neighborhood I'm in often. And I'm surprised it's just you showing up. But whatever, it's council's will. But I wouldn't, this is not that for that neighborhood. This is just like trying to do that in Quail Run, type deal. Like, trying to do it, it's that kind of neighborhood, older neighborhood type situation. So, but.
This is my last question, just so I can make an informed decision. Ramble Road, where is it? Like, where does it?
You coming out, imagine coming out,
Statesville High.
Statesville High.
Okay.
Statesville High is on your left.
Right,
All right, you come down to the end of the street,
okay,
and you got the little store that's right there.
yes.
You make the right turn, and then make a quick left. That's Ramble Road, right
Oh.
there. Yeah, that is that neighborhood,
Okay,
and so,
okay.
yeah.
So it's across from, is it Pembridge?
No, it's down
It's
from
down.
Pepper Ridge.
It's-
It's on the same side as Pepper Ridge, but imagine you come out of the Pepper Ridge, you make a left. And you drive down, you're gonna pass by Coach Hill Boulevard on the right-hand side, you're gonna go to, past that store, and you're gonna make that quick left, right, you're gonna make the left right there.
Okay.
And so what it adds is and that street goes all the way down, and you got your big lots of houses on there. And so now you're putting, these additional units right when you get in, right there. And so it's not what that neighborhood is. So, if this was a situation where they wanted to build a house on a smaller lot in that neighborhood, then I would say yes. But because of what the neighborhood is, I agree with, I think the planning commission and staff, I think they've gotten it right on this.
So, Mr. Mayor, it sounds like all of us are in agreement that we don't want to approve what they've asked for. But my point was, if we were more comfortable with the idea of just adding a duplex, since it's an oversized lot, then if we wanted to entertain that possibility and see if that's what they wanted, we would defer the issue so they could come back next month. If we just say no, then they can't do anything for at least 6 months. They can't even come back and ask. So that's the point I was making. If we
Yeah,
want to give them that option.
that's totally the council's discretion. As to whether, and I'll just be honest with you, I don't think a duplex, I wouldn't even put a duplex in that neighborhood, but that's just me speaking, but we'll let planning commission and staff look at it. Cause I'm very familiar with this neighborhood. And I just absolutely, I just got a good feeling that he's not the only one that's thinking like that in that neighborhood. I like the idea of it, but, you know, so. But if y'all wanna defer, if y'all wanna deny, that's totally in the privilege of council.
I like the idea of deferment so I can actually go and look at it.
Okay.
But
So-
based upon the information that has been given and what I've seen already, it's already condensed over there.
Yeah.
Is that across from the store, right?
It's across from the store,
Yeah.
it's down the street, yeah. This would be totally different than what that neighborhood is.
Of course, it's diagonal
And, you know,
from those duplexes.
Yeah, and this is what we wanna do. You know, whatever the owner wanted, if we wanna give the owner an opportunity to come back
I wanna hear
and
what you
take,
say.
yeah. If we wanna do that, I think that'd be wise. As far as us trying to, you know, give them options, I wouldn't say that we need to be throwing that out there like that. So, you know, if we wanna defer and give them an opportunity to further discuss it with staff and the planning commission, I would say do that.
So maybe could I just ask
Go ahead.
a question? So if council, and I know the issue that Ms. Barr raises is that if they deny, they couldn't bring that same zoning back for
Yeah.
6 months.
That can bring something
But
different.
if they denied it and they brought something different that wasn't in the same zoning, they wouldn't have to wait that 6 month period. I'm asking that for clarification.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm asking.
I don't think so, but I can't definitively say yes or no. That's why I suggested a deferral. I think that's your safest bet.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so council, do we have a motion for a deferral?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor? All right, so let's move down to agenda item 6, which is consideration of a hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application 24-11-02. Cody Rogers requests a variance from table 2.2.9-B of the Unified Development Code in order to increase the setback allowance for commercial development on approximately 0.5 acres located on Highway 67 and Independence Way. Is there a motion to open the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, Kathy, you give us a little
Yes.
insight.
Currently, the property is a vacant commercial lot located at the intersection of Highway 67 South, Independence Way, and Pitcher Plant Way. The applicant intends to develop a coffee shop on the site, which primarily requires drive-through traffic. Due to the current requirements of the Unified Development Code, this property does not appropriately address the needs of buildings that need a setback beyond 10 feet. This requirement is under consideration for amendment at a later council meeting. So you can see the subject property. It's right next to Wild Wing Cafe. The future land use map shows this to be of a neighborhood center. And the issue that requires the variance is because it's in a mixed-use zoning district, and that requires a minimum 10-foot setback. So that's what we're varying here. The subject property is vacant currently, and is shown on the top left, and the property to the west on the bottom right. The property to the south on the top left, and the property to the north on the bottom right. And you can see the site plan here of what's being proposed. If you can enlarge that a little, Lane, that would be helpful. And that it will be a drive-through with some parking spaces. And the variance is requesting a variance from the 10-foot setback requirement, which is required in the mixed-use district. So staff does recommend approval of V 24-11-02. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of this variance does not grant the right to begin construction. All construction must be reviewed and approved by the city. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on December 3rd, 2024, the commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Good afternoon. My name is Keith Stevens with EMC Engineering. As you can see on our site plan, the driveway to the right is lining up with it was the old Patterson's restaurant across the road. So we lined up our driveway with that, and we felt better circulation around the site if we slid the building back. Kind of what you see with typical fast food or drive-through location. So with the ordinance, we would have to be within 10 feet of the front property line. So we shifted it back, kind of gave you a typical site plan. And like Ms. Kathy mentioned, it's got to be approved by all other staff, and it has been reviewed, and this is the only outstanding item by staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak for? Anyone to speak against? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let's open it up for council discussion. Any council discussion?
My only question was, Ms. Field, I heard you say something about we're gonna be talking later about amending this setback, is that right?
Yes, we're at the next council meeting at the work session, we'll be bringing forward a whole set of amendments to the Unified Development Code. And this will be one of these amendments that we're going to request.
It'll be the second meeting in January.
I'm sorry, the second meeting, the
At the work session.
21st, yes.
So for our typical lot sizes, we may have been too stringent initially, so you can be asking us.
Yeah, because it's in a mixed-use zoning district, and the idea was that it should be related to the sidewalk, but it really doesn't work in these mixed-use districts. As you can see, this is a prime example. So the idea is to push it back. So,
Thank you.
all right.
This is right out there at Aspen Heights with all those people nearby. I think it's an ideal location for a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're gonna make it good.
Oh, yeah.
It's where you turn into the Keegan hardware right on the corner there.
Sweet.
Any further discussion by council? No? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve with staff conditions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let it show that agenda item 6 has passed. We move down to agenda item 7. Agenda item 7 states, it's a consideration of a motion to approve application SUB 24-11-03, Burbank Point LLC requests a preliminary subdivision plat on approximately 0.95 acres of property located at 227 and 231 East Main Street. Catherine.
Thank you. Currently, the property contains a dilapidated farmer's stand and some additional vacant land surrounding the primary parcel. The applicant originally intended to develop a cottage court on the property, but after multiple revisions to the plan, it became not a feasible development at the proposed density. The applicant seeks to subdivide the property into traditional single-family lots. The actual subdivision, as requested, consists of the highlighted and adjacent parcels, but at this time, the county does not have an assigned parcel number for this parcel, and that's just a bureaucratic issue that we're trying to figure out. So the location is outlined in red, and it's the corner of East Main and Gordon Street. And the future land use map shows this to be in a proposed redevelopment area. The zoning is intact. It's the R6 zoning district, which is 6,000 square foot lots. And the subject property, we all know this. This is on East Main Street, and it's the old fruit stand, I guess. And it's on the top left. Property to the east on the bottom right, property to the south on the top left, and the property to the west on the bottom right. And here is the preliminary subdivision plan. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots. subdivided on this parcel, and they all meet our requirements for setbacks and whatnot. So staff does recommend approval of SUB 24-11-03. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of this preliminary subdivision plat does not grant the right to develop on the property. All construction must be approved by the city. 2, the final plat must meet all recording requirements of the Unified Development Code before any units may be sold in the subdivision. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on December 3rd, 2024, the Commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Any discussion about the council? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to agenda item 8, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2024-39, a resolution amending the affordable housing resolution to Habitat for Humanity. Mr. Penny, you want to give us a little bit of insight on that?
Mayor, members of the council, I may have to get staff to help me, to remind me. There was an agreement with Habitat that dates back to 1998, and that we worked with Habitat. However, it didn't, and it waived fees and things of that nature, but it was just wide open. And so what we wanted to do was bring something that set parameters around that, so it wasn't just completely wide open. And so that's what this resolution is about, and Justin, I think I got it right. And so we didn't want to just arbitrarily do something, but we need a council because of the council action that originally set it up before.
Okay. All right. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I wonder if our faithful Habitat representative has any comment he'd like to make before we vote. Can we ask?
You talking about the guy that never shows up for me?
Mayor, behave because I'm also on the board.
We would just say, be careful, Mark.
Basically, anything that makes it a little cheaper for us to build houses in Statesboro would be greatly appreciated.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mark. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's move down to agenda item number 9, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2024-40, a resolution approving pre-application for the 2024-2025 hazard mitigation grant program offered through the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. Grant match will be paid from Stormwater Fund operating revenues. Mr. Penny, if you would.
Mayor, members of the council, warmly asking your permission to be able to apply for these hazard mitigation funds. And in particular, this project is related to the Birds Pond dam. We have a dam out there, and during Debbie, the dam got breached a little bit, and some damage, and so we want to be able to apply for these funds, and if we get the funds, then we would use stormwater funds as the match. And so we're just asking for permission today to be able to apply for the funds, and we do recommend approval.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item number 10, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2024-41, a resolution to approve the submission of an application for T-Mobile Hometown Grants Program. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, it's an opportunity for us to apply for some grant funds, in particular where we have public art. And when this came about, one of the things we were thinking about was the art park. And we will incur costs to be able to replace the pieces in the park. And so this was introduced to Olympia and thought it would be a great opportunity. And there was an amount, $50,000 that we could possibly get. And so we want your permission to be able to apply for that money. Everybody nodded.
Yeah, we like to get grant dollars. Absolutely. Chief, pull out your coloring book. We might get some of that all over there. Any discussion by council?
It sounds like this would help us with acquiring new art and the expense involved in taking it down and putting it
Yes,
up,
yes,
sort of
ma'am.
thing.
Because I can't remember, Lindsay might remember what it cost us, about $25,000.
I think it's about 20, and it's supplement.
The place art is already there.
Right.
That's good. Council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Let's move on to agenda item 11. Consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2024-42, a resolution to reject the previously awarded contract to Great Southern Recreation due to the absence of a bid bond as required under OCGA 13-10-20, and allow staff to negotiate a contract with Lavender and Associates for the design build of Whitesville Park in the amount not to exceed $1.2 million. Mr. Penny, if you'll give us a little bit of insight, we noticed Mr. Jones had some questions about that.
Mr. Mayor, you just answered the question in that description. The lack of a bid bond made the bid non-responsive.
Okay.
And then where we are, we're in a place that you are having to commit these funds before the end of December. And this is our only opportunity to do that, so we don't lose $1.2 million back to the federal government. So we went to the next most viable bid, and that was with Lavender and Associates, recognizing their bid might have been a little bit higher, but they know we have $1.2 million. Lavender and Associates was involved in the park, the two park projects, Louetta Moore and Grady Street. We are not at all concerned about the quality of what we're going to get as a result of the work that John Lavender and his crew does. And so we want to recommend this to you because we need to get, it's a design build project, but we need to have these funds committed. And this is going to be your last chance unless you have a special meeting between now and December 31st.
Okay.
We're recommending it.
All right. All right, so let's open this up for council discussion in regards to agenda item number 11. Is there any discussion with council?
Let's move the expedition.
Good. Okay. All right, with that being said, is there a motion to approve agenda item 11?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, and I do want to say this, right here, I believe council has made the right decision in this matter. And I am comfortable with Lavender as they've done the last two parts. And I feel that they did excellent work for us. It's good to have these dollars stay in our communities. With that being said, we move on to agenda items 12, which is consideration of a motion to terminate the contract with Freeze Nichols Incorporated for design and permitting services for the Creek on the Blue Mile project. Mr. Pickett.
Mayor, members of the council, at the last meeting, when you approved the agreement with GDOT for funding the work of the project on the Creek on the Blue Mile for the bridges, I shared with you that we were going to come back to you with the recommendation that we end our relationship with Freeze Nichols, that has been our project engineer at least for the last 4 years. And again, as we stated on a number of occasions, it's not anything bad about Freeze Nichols because of a federal process that we have to follow. It does incur some additional costs. However, we could not reach agreement with them on what that cost would be. And so I think it's the most prudent thing to end our relationship with them. And then we will go out for requests for qualifications and select a new project engineer. And we will negotiate another price that should be, hopefully, will be substantially lower than what they had proposed. And I say that because, hopefully, because we have been in a very tough environment from doing projects. But I do believe we'll be able bring a project that I can recommend to you. So I do recommend approval of the ending of this relationship.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Penny. We're gonna turn it over to council for any feedback.
I was pleased to hear, to read that, they have agreed everything they've done so far belongs to us, and it'll be helpful in the transition, so it's not an adversarial relationship, so we won't lose the value we've already invested.
And to this part of that point, part of the request for qualification we will be insisting upon the new engineers using the data that we already have, so they don't come in and try to.
Recharge.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, any further discussion by council? All right, is there a motion to approve?
So, second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, we'll move down to agenda item number 13, consideration of a motion to offer the approval of $700,000 in housing rehab and $250,000 for Statesboro Food Bank, total of $950,000 to be paid out of ARPA funds instead of the interest earned on the ARPA funds as initially proposed. Mr. Bennett.
Mayor, members of the council, this is more of a housekeeping item, because of the ARPA funds, and to make sure, again, we received $12.3 million, and we don't want to send one penny
That's right.
back to the federal government. We have funded some housing rehab, some reconstruction, and we have funded some additional funding toward the food bank out of interest earned money. And so what we're asking for housekeeping and to make sure our paperwork is documented, we're asking you to approve this so that if the feds come back and monitor us, they can see that you have officially approved the use of those ARPA funds for the $250 for the food bank and for the reconstruction. And we can do other things with the interest later. We're just trying to make sure that we use every nickel of that $12.3 million that we received.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we move on to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion for approval of $180,000 in ARPA funds to Statesboro Food Bank for the completion of the building. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, we've been working with the county and working with the food bank board to have a great facility. The only issue has been that we didn't have sufficient funding to finish the project. And as I stated earlier, the county did provide $250,000 this morning. And I shared with the mayor one of the real challenges for me going over to the food bank is that we had this nice new building, but it's not finished. And so we really haven't been able to utilize it to its full potential. And so with these funds that we need to get committed, we thought it would look good for the city and the county to have the food bank new building completed so that they can use it to its utmost. And we'll also work with them to be able to use it for some city program as well there.
Okay.
So recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to recognize that we have some of our food bank board members with us this evening. Appreciate the support.
Absolutely. All right, any further from council? Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Jones, did that answer everything?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we move on to agenda item 15, consideration of a motion to approve and award a contract to extend the city cyber insurance contract with VCS Insurance for a period of 18 months in the amount of $40,509. This contract will terminate on June the 30th, 2026. Mr. Penny, you want to give us a little more insight on that?
Mayor, every year we come up with our insurance contracts are normally for a year's term, and we're at that point that we need to extend that, but we're asking for a year and a half. And so you have the next several items are related to insurance purposes. I will say, Sean Davis is sitting in the back. You don't have to say anything, Sean, but just recognize that these insurance packages are really important for our protection, and we appreciate Sean and his group for Assured Partners working with us. And so that's what you're seeing here. And so in the world that we live in, cybersecurity, we need that type of protection. So we do recommend it to you.
Thank you. Any discussion by council? All right, see.
Mr. Mayor, just clarifying, the next 6 items, we're going to extend for 18 months instead of a year, so we can have a whole package that comes due and matches our budget cycle then.
Yes, and I will also say this to you, Ms. Barr. I've been here 5 years, and at some point, you really need to go out and do a complete bid process. And so we're sort of at the end of that time, but this gives us time, and I'm putting staff on notice that we've been extending these, and we appreciate Sean and Jonathan and them working with us. But at some point, we should put the whole package out, and this gives us enough time to get it all prepared. And so 18 months from now, we shouldn't be doing this again. We ought to be preparing a bigger package that would bid the whole thing out again.
All right. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we move on to agenda item 16, consideration of a motion to award a contract to extend the city's drone insurance contract to Global Insurance for a period of 18 months in the amount of $5,235. This contract was terminated on June the 30th, 2026.
And man, I don't know if I can say anything. I was telling when we had drone insurance. So
What is that?
Sean,
Yeah, we use drone.
Darren,
Yeah,
It covers liability in case it gets misused in any way.
yeah. Any further discussion by council?
Sean,
We just used a drone in some great action there, would you? Yeah, yeah, so I guess I'm the only person that keeps up with that.
Sean is willing to tell us.
So, Mr. Davis, if you would.
Mayor, Mr. Perry, Council, thank you. Good evening. Merry Christmas. So several years ago, we started the use of drones, and we've actually picked up another drone this year for mapping, GIS, and other things. And our police department has it for various necessary means as well. As we're all been watching the news, there is drone issues out there. We not only have the liability, which is the greatest threat to the city, we actually have the physical damage on these very expensive items as well. So that's what's included in that.
Thank you. Any further discussion by council? Okay. If there's not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Let's move on to agenda item 17, consideration of a motion to award a contract to extend the city's health insurance contract to Anthem Insurance for a period of 18 months in the amount of $9,600,186. This contract will terminate on June 30th, 2026. Mr. Perry.
Yeah, again, Mayor, one of our biggest expenditures is our health insurance. It was self-funded. However, when you look at that number, it's a huge number, but if you think about it, our total insurance package for all of our employees is almost $6 million. So you're doing it for a year and a half, and that's what gets you to the $9.6 million. And you can't live without it. And we recommend approval.
All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, moving on to agenda item 18, consideration of a motion to award a contract to extend the city's fire department parking insurance to VFIS for a period of 18 months in the amount of $137,698. This contract will terminate on June the 30th, 2026. Mr. Penny.
I recommend it to you, Mayor.
Okay. All right, the council. All right, seeing that there's no discussion, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we move on to agenda item 19, consideration of a motion to award a contract to extend the city's general liability PNC insurance travels for a period of 18 months in the amount of $1,920,000. This contract will terminate June the 30th, 2026. Anything further than that, Mr. Penny?
No, sir.
All right, council, any discussion? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor? All right, we move on to agenda item 20, consideration of a motion to award a contract to extend the city workers' compensation insurance to Bidco for a period of 18 months in the amount of $742,000. This contract will terminate in on June 30th, 2026. Mr. Penny, anything to add?
No, sir.
Council, anything to discuss? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let's move on to agenda item 21, consideration of a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding between the city of Statesboro and Planning, Behavioral Health and Development with Disabilities for transit vouchers. Mr. Penny, if you will.
Mayor, members of the council, Pineland is, we're entering into a memorandum of understanding with them, for them to be able to purchase vouchers that clients could use, up to that $4,000 range. And we recommend approval of this agreement with Pineland. We like folks to use our transit system.
That's right.
And this provides good assistance to their clients.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let's move on to agenda item 22, consideration of a motion to approve purchase sale agreement with Robert Franklin Real Estate LLC in the amount of $588,000 for the purchase of 1.3 acres of land for the development of a new fire station. The project will be paid from 2019 SPLOST funds. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, for a number of years, we have had in our capital improvement plan, plans to build Fire Station 3. And if you approve this action tonight, we will get busy to start design for Fire Station 3. We, for a number of reasons, we need to place another station so that we are closer to our to the properties and we improve our response time. But the other thing is we've added 21 new employees. And so right now, it's a little crowded in the 2 fire stations that we have. And so this new station will, one, allow us to get our staffing from on top of each other. And then the other piece is will also prepare us for the new equipment that we have purchased, the new trucks. And so this is for me, and I know for Chief Graham and for Jason, this is an exciting day to be able to recommend this to you. We've done a lot of due diligence and lots of conversations with Mr. Franklin, and we're just pleased tonight to be able to recommend approval of the purchase of the land.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Penny. I want to open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I think folks might be interested to hear where it's going to be located. Over kind of behind Lowe's, between Lowe's and where the Brannan Street connector, where it runs into Kawana Road. If Chief Tim has anything he wants to tell us about it, I'm happy to hear it.
Ready to get it started?
He's ready for us to approve it. Absolutely. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
And this is exciting. I'm pumped about this. With that being said, we move down to agenda item 23, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of a 2024 Caterpillar 926M meter wheel loader using a Sourcewell CAT contract number 011723 Pricewood operating solid waste disposal operating funds for the 2025 CIP in the amount of $221,770. Mr. Penny, anything to add beyond that?
Recommend approval.
All right, somebody text John and tell him he cannot ride.
John Reed.
With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? We'll move on to agenda item 27, which is consideration of a motion to authorize payment to Y Delta Incorporated in the amount of $87,279.47 for repairs to collapsed sewer mains on Whittier Drive and Tillman Road to be paid for with funds from system revenues. Mr. King.
Mayor, members of the council, I have to say to you that this work has already been done. It was emergency repairs, but there are times that you have to get work done. You could not allow sewer lines to be broken because that would impact our ability to provide that service throughout the city. And so we do recommend approval of this because, again, they've already done the work.
All right, thank you. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right. Is there a second? All those in favor? Y'all men over here getting old, I'm going between my glasses, trying to get myself situated over here. With that being said, this is a fight against bifocals, y'all. With this being said, can we go down to agenda item 25, other business from city council? Any other business?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to take a moment to say thank you to the county officials who are retiring, who had their last county commission meeting this morning, and I very much appreciate the service of Chairperson Roy Thompson and Commissioner Kurt Neal and Commissioner Jackie Stringer, who have served this county and this city well for multiple years. And so I want to say thank you to them.
Anything else from council? I do want to take the opportunity to say two things this evening. The first is I want to echo what Councilmember Sherry Barr said. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to work with Roy Thompson, Kurt Deal, and Jackie Stringer. Those three men, if y'all didn't know anything else, they loved this community. And they represented that with their efforts, their dedication. You could call any of those men at any given time and they will give you a call back. And so we are missing some treasures in leadership with those men, but we got a new group of great people that's coming in. And the only thing I ask is that they continue the legacy of those men when it comes to really working to serve our community. And I have no doubt that they will continue to do so. They will continue that legacy. And so I just wanted to give an opportunity to pay honor and tribute to what those folks have done, because we can see across this community, whether it's the food bank, whether it's the parks, infrastructure, things of that nature, those men have really done a great service to this community. So I definitely want to give them their honor, their praise, and their roses while they're still able to enjoy them. The next item I want to address, and this is a timely issue. Our youth department for the past 3 years have used about 60% of their budget each year, and so they've been great stewards of their funds. This year they do have some remaining funds that we want to utilize to allow that group to take about 30 young people from our community on a trip to Washington, D.C. to visit the White House, Congress, and all of those great kind of things. And with the remaining funds, we want to allocate $42,000 for that trip. We need council approval for that. So I would like to have a motion to approve the allocation of funds for our youth department in their trip to Washington, D.C. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Any opposed? All right. Thank you. With that being said, that's all we have from city council. We'll go down to city manager.
Mayor, members of the council, I just wanted to just call to your attention in your FYI package. We've been talking a lot about ARPA funds, and we broke it down to you. We didn't total it out, but so where we are today, I think we're probably about $160-some thousand more than what ARPA funds we have available. But we have interest. But we just want to let you know, it is not our plan to send anything back to DC. We plan to spend every penny of it.
We support that.
Okay, and so just say that's there. And then also want to just call to your attention that in your package there was a, if you remember back in May, Mr. Delhorn came to you about the peace officers fund, and I in your packet we met with him and we shared with him what kind of our benefits and all, and we have about a third of our officers that participate in the they call it POAB, and so he wanted the city to pay for it, and in your package, the majority of the cities that we did research on don't pay for that. And so what I said to him is that at this time, I cannot recommend that we add that as a benefit. This mayor and council have been very generous to all of our city employees, and we're still paying for pay plans and paying for health insurance and things of that nature. We'll be glad to look at it during the course of budget, but at this time, we cannot recommend that. And so I wanted to report that out to you before this year was out. And then I also wanted to extend a thank you to our finance department and public works. If you look at City Hall, it's taken on a different look for this holiday season. In fact, in the past few years, we would turn the light on the front porch because our building looks so dark. And this is a beautiful building, and we want people to enjoy it. And we've actually had people that have come by City Hall, they've taken pictures, they've sent us pictures of what City Hall looks like. So I want to thank Ms. Cindy West and her team, that they spent a lot of time decorating, and the public works folks have been right there with them. And there may be some other folks, I don't want to leave anybody out, but it certainly makes you get in the holiday spirit. And so I just wanted to recognize them. And then this Sunday we'll be doing the toy giveaway, and that will be at the Boys and Girls Club. We are helping about 25 families, and they will have boxes for the children, and we are assisting some folks maybe with some utility bills, and they will also be provided with meals for Christmas. And so, and we appreciate the businesses that have donated. We appreciate the sororities and fraternities and other groups that are part of that effort as well. But the giveaway will be for anyone that might not be one of those 25 families. All the other toys that we have left over starting at 1 o'clock. People will be able to go in. It'll be on a first come, first served basis, and it'll be at the Boys and Girls Club on Sunday afternoon.
Mr. Payne, I hate to interrupt. Is it something that we need for that, that we might need to send a cry out to the community to support? I know last year bicycles was a situation. What do we need?
We're in pretty good shape. I will say, this has been a great effort, but we're not the only effort in the community.
In my mind,
yeah, but I'm just saying, we got Toys for Tots, and they're working with us, and they're providing stuff to us, and so we got lots of toys. We don't have as many bikes but I don't know that we've had a lot of requests for bikes, so people bring bikes, then on Sunday when folks come through, they see bikes, they would be interested. So, yeah, if someone wants to bring a bike, we aren't gonna turn anything down.
So I mean, we need about everybody else. That's what I heard.
I think the families and I think they'll be pleased with what we do. Last year, in the past, our staff spent a lot of time trying to buy clothes so they just don't get toys. But last year, instead of doing that, we got gift cards so the kids could go get what they wanted. And if you have children, you know, they like, you don't give them what they won't wear it. And so what we do is buy them from places that they have to get clothes or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
And I think that's it, man. And I did want to just say to everyone, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Mr. Mayor, speaking of Christmas spirit, maybe we could remind folks that Thompson's Rory was talking about today. He and Deborah, their joy is to put on that light show they do out at their farm every year. There's no admission charge. They accept donations and canned goods. All the money that's raised, all the stuff that's given is to support people in this community. And he said this morning, somebody asked him, he said last year their light bill for the month of December was $9,000 out of their pocket that they pay in order to provide that drive-through light show for the enjoyment of people in Bullock County and surrounding areas. So if you've not been, it's a real treat. Get on Facebook and get the location. They're way out northwest county. But it's worth the drive-through.
Yeah, it is. We go every year. That's part of our tradition. Yeah. With that being said, we're done with city manager. We're down to public comments. Any public comments? All right, seeing that there is none, we'll go down to agenda item 28, consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters. This is in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. All right, if you will.